Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with a septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. Fuck around and find out what that is.
Okay, guys, this is a hot topic. It's probably one of the hottest topics that are out there. And that's everybody's wanting to know about these data centers, wanting to know about AI, wanting to know about what's going on in the data center world. As you know, we've talked about this quite a bit. I make fun of the system all the time, just like that little parody that all of you love, right? We're in a time where it seems that everything is right is wrong and everything that's wrong is right. And it's up to us to sift through the crap and get it right. Now, this topic is on data centers as it has to do with artificial intelligence and what we should know, what we should be thinking about. We did a video for you that talks about the topic we're going to talk about today. Let me remind you in case you didn't see it in the opening.
Warning. Whoever controls the AI data centers controls the electricity, the water, the internet, and the digital economy. This comes from Lindell TV personality, Mike Dillon. He's blowing the whistle on AI data centers. Monday, June 1st live on Cut the Crap Show, join host Jovan Hutton Pulitzer while he hosts Mike Dillon with tough answers and questions about, as Mike puts it, the United States is building a digital empire and nobody asked you. The AI revolution is just to control your life. Mike says, this isn't about innovation, it's about control, and promises to expose how Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Klaus Schwab, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Donald Trump all conspiring together for the benefit of the billionaire class. Dillon claims, your vote wasn't asked for, your input wasn't wanted, your concerns weren't considered. Why? Because this is the billionaire class's dream scenario. That's Monday, June 1st, on The Cut, the crap show found at rumble.com/Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. See you there.
Okay, so here we are going to have this discussion. It's going out across all the channels and stuff. Do you agree this is a hot topic? Answer in chat. Do you have fears regarding AI and data centers? What are you hearing? What are the facts? Are we in trouble? Is it going to take over our country? Are you worried because we're not a member of the Billionaire Club? Well, those are the topics that we're going to discuss. By the way, today's program, as always, brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. I'm going to make this really quick so we can get to the topic. I'm just asking you to go to jovanlovesgold.com, request your free gold and silver kit today because now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver. Now, I did this topic because I believe this is a mission critical topic that you need to know. Now, my guest, basically we had a friend of ours reach out and say, hey, you got to talk to this guy, Mike Dillon, that's blowing the whistle on these data centers. Now, he's part of the Lindell Network. I guess that's what Frank TV is called now, Lindell Network. Health expert, etc. Recently, one of the shows he just did is Stop Falling for the Fear. And so people are fearful about the data centers and stuff. And just like You know, I'm all for clarity. We got to get down to clarity. We got to get down to facts. So this is going to be an important show. Share this right now. We're going to talk with Mike about this topic. Get it shared right now so people tune in, because this is probably the most, information outside of elections you've got to be in tune to. So when you're discussing it with friends, you get the story right. We'll get started in about 2 minutes.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, guys, I know you have tons of questions, but how could you ignore, if you're going to learn the truth about Elon or Bezos or Bibi Netanyahu or any of these fellows? First off, what is your opinion right now as we start this program? What's your opinion of AI data centers? 1, there's nothing to worry about. 10, we're in trouble. I want to kind of do it as a poll across the different chats, across the different channels. And all I'm asking you to do is have an open mind regarding the information. It's just like anything else out there. You've got to know the truth. And so where do you think we are? I've got 1, 2, 3 10s. I got a 3.5. I got a 4. We got a 6. Where do you think it is? 10 means we are in incredible trouble. 1 means we don't have to worry about it. Got another 10, got a 9, got a 7, got another 10, 3.5, got a 4, got another 4, got an 8, right? Another 10 all over the channel. So as you can tell, people are incredibly concerned about this AI and data centers. I want you to pull out a piece of paper and a notepad. My job is to make you the smartest patriot in the room. And we cannot defend against the system if we don't understand how a system doing it to us. Mike, do we say, is it Dillion? Am I saying that right, Mike?
Dylan, like Matt Dillon, just better looking, but less money in my bank account.
Oh, there you go. But it's still with that extra I on the end there, right?
No, it's just Dillon.
O-N. I guess I had that as a typo. Hey, look, tell people about yourself, where you're from, what you are, what do you do in life? And I know and how'd you get on Lindell TV to begin with?
So to tell you the truth, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the products, but Mike reached out to me a few years back, and when he got caught up with the election fraud,
right?
And me as an American patriot, I knew how hard Trump was working for the American vote and the American people. And I didn't think that there was any way that Sleepy Joe had got tens of millions of votes, or 1 million, not even 5 votes more than Donald Trump. Right. And I saw that they crucified Mike Lindell for speaking about the election fraud. And he wanted to launch a network. And he said, look, Mike, he goes, I'm looking to put some information out there. And I said to him, I want to talk about health, because I thought that Bobby was really had a good chance. I loved what Bobby's, uncle had done. I think he got killed for speaking on some topics that probably he should have just kept his mouth shut. But,
So should we assume you're a personal friend of Robert?
I'm not a personal friend,
Okay.
but I've sponsored the Children's Health Defense shows. I've spoken with Bobby. I'm very good friends with Brian Hooker, who he's wrote multiple books with. And I wanted to give Mike a shot to give people a platform to speak.
And so Mike kind of, I guess, called and recruited you in. What's your particular expertise?
So my expertise is in health and wellness. It's anything in the body, detox. I grew up in a chiropractic background. I've been lecturing and
Palmer
speaking.
or Parker?
Palmer. My daughter's Palmer, actually.
I
So,
used to write all of the chiropractic training programs for Palmer and Parker years and years ago. I know them well. That's why I know to ask you whether you're a Palmer or a Parker. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, and the funniest thing is Dee Palmer, the founder of chiropractic. A lot of people confuse it and say it was BJ. I go, no, well, BJ was just the first one with a license. I go, but his dad was doing it willy-nilly and helping people before the school was even written. But he really understood the human body at a cellular level, and if everything was working properly, you could have you could avoid a lot of surgeries just by listening to your body and moving the body and just having everything kind of flowing.
So is that your topic on Lindell? You talk on health specifically?
We speak mostly on health. So Maha with Mike is Make America Healthy Again, and we bring in mostly epidemiologists, doctors. We bring in, so it gets a little political sometimes, but mostly we're talking about health and wellness and how for the human body can survive in a world of chaos.
So what would you consider yourself? Are you a researcher or are you a journalist? What are you in this space of dealing in health and now with data centers? What would you consider yourself?
Okay, so my background is in building companies like airwaterhealing.com, which is a health and wellness space, but I am a journalist and I'm a podcast host.
Awesome. Where did you cut your journalist teeth? What's that part of your background as a journalist?
So for me, a lot of what I did was just, especially during the DC and January 6th, it was flying around to different places, interviewing, talking to people, but more importantly, dealing with the guys that were developing cutting edge technology that were going up against big pharma. Because I thought that there was
really, for example, what? Just so I understand.
Yeah, so Global Healing, Dr. Edward Group, going out and interviewing him, going out and looking at the facilities and seeing, is there really a plant that's out there that could compete as good as metformin? Which anybody who has diabetes or a friend with diabetes, I'm sure they've heard of metformin.
I mean, manufacturing the pharmaceuticals or manufacturing alternatives?
Manufacturing alternatives.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you keyed in on this topic, and this is what was sent to me. You keyed in on this topic that data centers truly are it's a big consolidation play. They're going to control our future, etc. Let's start there. I took the 5 points that were sent to me and basically you said your 5 key points here, and let's just kind of knock them on one by one. I want to save time for question and answers too, but you're basically saying this might be one of the number one water crisis and most important threats to public health, agriculture, and long-term sustainability. Tell us what you need us to know about water.
So water is probably the most important thing on Earth other than air, because we can go, a couple minutes without air. We can go a couple days without water. Water is crucial. And I think one of the most alarming things, and anybody who's not a liberal or a mental absolute scumbucket would understand, that you should not be building data centers in places that are prone to having droughts, right, or water scarcity.
Right.
And the thing about AI data centers is they require, some of them, millions of gallons of water to cool these supercomputers.
Millions of gallons a year, millions of gallons a day, what?
Millions of gallons a month. Some
really?
Of them could be millions of gallons a day, depending on the size of the data center.
And so are you saying that the areas that they've been located in have water issues, that they're being chose intentionally? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, it's not what I'm thinking. It's what's being released. There's already independent journalists out there that have said places in Arizona that they've already approved data centers that are in water restricted areas or high levels they've already broke ground on some of these sites. But I understand, and you and I both understand, you're not going to put a data center in Palm Beach next to the ocean and get a desalination generator. It wouldn't be affordable. So they've got to put them in places where land is not only cheap, but they've also got to put them in places where they can get permits, where they can get approval. And I think we're at a point now where we have to start asking the question, who deserves water more, human beings or the machine?
Very true. Good, very, very good point. So that's your point on water. We're gonna kind of knock these down one by one, folks. The second point that your team had sent is you're saying this is the billionaire control class, and you drop some big names, right? You drop Klaus Schwab, evil name. You dropped Bezos. You dropped Zuckerberg, president of China, even our president. What does this mean? You think it's for the billionaire class that's going on?
Well, any of your listeners that watch you, I think the reason why I fell in love with you in the beginning is you have a relationship with Goldco. And your listeners need to know gold and silver is where your family's financial security is. Because if you look at the S&P 500, if you look at BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, these guys that have made this run, a historic run in the AI sector, in the S&P 500 in the past 7 months, it has created a whole new level of millionaires, billionaires, soon to be trillionaires. We might see the first one with the SpaceX IPO. These guys are pathological liars.
Now, do you think, just on SpaceX, which might do that, do you call that an AI data center play? Or do you call that a stock play?
I think there's going to be a lot of people. The SpaceX will not be able to exist without AI data centers. They can't. They need this information, this compute power. It's changing every single day. It is impossible for SpaceX to be a company without these data centers.
But do you drop them in the category? I know everybody uses AI. It's all computing and everything else. But you said that that's how they're enriching themselves. And you said we have a trillionaire. Do you think that SpaceX and its big push together that it's doing is part of this AI and data center play?
100%.
And how do you think SpaceX will play in the data center business going forward?
Well, you know, Elon Musk is the one that scared me the most, because he specifically said to an interviewer less than a month ago, he said, I think we're 5 years away from being able to have satellites that can draw energy from the sun, and we can have more of like a quantum computer type power that's floating around. So if we're only 5 years away, why are we buying farmland and tapping into America's water supply if we're only 5 years away from being able to make a more energy efficient, but more importantly, an economical decision to where we're not making impact on growth? Like,
so since you named Elon in this billionaire class, are you thinking Elon's not one of the good guys?
It's not about being good. It's about being economically responsible. I believe that human rights, which is access to water and access to clean air, is very, very important. But I also understand that we're in a race against the world's elite. Whoever wins the AI race is going to win the economic world power.
And so, okay, let's go. Good guy, bad guy. You listed these people in your details. So Elon Musk, good guy, bad guy. Which side?
I think he's a good one.
Peter Thiel, you good guy, bad guy.
Don't like him.
But good guy, bad guy.
I think he's a bad guy.
Bezos, good guy, bad guy.
Bad guy.
Zuckerberg, good guy, bad guy.
Bad guy.
Your former CEO of Microsoft, good guy, bad guy.
I'm in the middle.
Okay. Google guys, good guy, bad guys.
Sergey Ben.
Yep. That's one.
I think he's a bad guy.
Okay. Klaus Schwab.
Bad guy.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Middle.
President China. Good guy, bad guy.
Bad guy.
President Trump. Good guy, bad guy.
Good guy.
In all of these, you said that's the billionaire class enablement. Why would one end of the spectrum, Elon being a good guy and Trump being a good guy, and your whole pitch, you said they are facilitating this. Is this good guys and bad guys working together to do this?
You have to. You've got to have the good and you've got to have the bad. You can't live without them. I don't think that Donald Trump purposely is positioning himself to allow AI data centers to harm people. I think he's trying to protect American sovereignty. I think he's trying to protect our wealth. If you look at our GDP, we're trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt.
Known fact.
What's that?
Which we were known fact, which we were there before data centers. But yeah,
Correct.
that's an absolute known fact.
Correct. But I think that Donald Trump has been listening to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk has gone on the record and said that the only way that America is going to survive is if we win the AI data race, because it's not a question. There are so many women of the age of reproduction here in the United States that are either choosing not to have children, can't have children, can't afford IVF.
But that's a different topic than data centers and AI.
No,
right?
no, it's not. It's so deep.
Data center makes people not have children?
No, it's so deeply tied, because the reason we have to win this AI race is because if we have a dying population, who is going to fill those jobs?
And so you think we have a dying population?
100%.
Okay, great. So now we've got the billionaire class, the billionaire control, that it's going to be an empire. So you think this is going to basically be an evil empire that'll go out of control?
Yeah.
Your other point was the real plan. What you said is that your core belief that AI data centers aren't just computing power, they're about centralized control, harvesting data, reshaping society and the systems run by a handful of corporations. In his view, this is the largest infrastructure takeover in modern history disguised as innovation. Explain that.
So we're allowing companies to come into small cities that have water drought issues, electrical grid issues.
Such as what cities? Give an example, just so everybody knows. I don't want to assume the public knows the cities or the towns. Which ones are you talking about?
I'll give you a specific one. Fayetteville, Georgia, which is outside of Meta's giant data center that they just did. We've had people that have interviewed them. If you look, Mike Adams, Health Ranger, he released on his Twitter a couple weeks ago, there was a woman who said that she couldn't even fill up her bathtub in less than 3 hours. The water that's coming out is murky brown. She's got a constant hum. And, their independent journalists have now reached out and released information saying that they tapped into the water supply and they didn't even have a permit. When they asked, why didn't you do that? They said, we don't need a permit. We have congressional authority. Who's giving congressional authority to a data center to not go pull a permit? You and I, brother, if we went and tapped into the main water supply without a permit, we'd be getting a knock at the door.
Wow. So you're saying it was without permit?
There has been multiple data centers that have tapped into water supplies.
Fayetteville, are you saying that Fayetteville, I'm sorry, I'm a focus guy. Are you saying Fayetteville, Georgia, right? Fayetteville, Georgia.
Yes.
Tapped into the water supply without any permits?
Yep. That's the answer that was given to the people that were calling in.
Wow. How much water are they using?
Millions of gallons a month.
How many millions of gallons a month?
I think it's 10 million gallons a month is what was reported. Okay.
So you think this is about a structural takeover? How would they take over? How would this work together?
So the bigger issue here is it's not about taking over. It's about redirecting electricity and water to run these centers because they require a lot of money, right? And I understand that most people look at the AI and they look at compute and they look at the cloud as this big fluffy cloud in the sky, but it's not a fluffy cloud in the sky. This is tax breaks. This is transmission lines. This is long-term public infrastructure support, which according to Elon Musk, in 5 years could possibly be done by satellites or switching to quantum computing, which I know Trump is now putting billions of dollars behind quantum computing because it might be a more energy efficient reason. But when you start looking at the NDAs, right, that they're signing in, and I believe NDAs are good for some reasons.
When you say NDAs, you mean non-disclosure agreements? Correct.
From the security issues, from what they're using with the land.
Whoa, hold on. You've actually looked at the data center NDAs?
I have not seen the NDAs. They are using NDAs.
But you're referencing them.
Yes, correct. So
Help me understand that's a disconnect because you said it in a way as if you look at them as if somebody has the NDAs. You're actually meaning it an opposite. They wouldn't be signing NDAs if it wasn't nefarious.
Correct. So the employers that are there, the government contractors, a lot of the people in the buildings, which is typical. A lot of times you have to sign an NDA, right? I'm sure you've signed an NDA as a patent holder with patents in almost every country.
I sign them every single day of my life and that's why I cornered you in there. I know exactly what they're for, but you said it in a way as if you read them. So I put you back on.
Yes, absolutely. I have not read them, but we know that they're using the NDAs. And one of the biggest, the big question that people are asking is, when you build this 1 million square foot facility, and you've got, like, if you look in Utah in specific, Kevin O'Leary, they just got approved for 40,000 acres. He said, we do not envision a world where we need 40,000 acres. That's not the size of the data center. We're only going to be building a small center in the middle. He goes, well, at least in the beginning.
Do you know why they asked for 40,000 acres?
40,000 acres is to secure not only the water rights that are underneath the 40,000 acres, but it's also for being able to possibly expand for electricity consumption. So we don't know if what they signed with the government in Utah is, hey, you've got 5 years, you've got 10 years. Independent journalists have reached out and said, are you guys going to be efficient? Are you doing solar? Are you guys going to be building a nuclear reactor? Where is this power coming from?
So let's do this. Number one, I'm inside that. I'll tell you the right numbers firsthand, but we'll get to that in a moment. So are you under the assumption that it's the square footage of land or acreage of land that determines your power consumption?
No, not at all.
So you're saying they got 40,000 acres of land because they want water and want power consumption?
I don't know that the 40,000 acres was anything other than an investment for future expansion. Maybe they're putting multiple data centers on there. We don't know, but we don't know the total square footage of what the building will be, because the answer that Kevin O'Leary gave was, in the beginning, we don't need to scale that size, at least not in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where you see the nefarious actions in that. Help me out. I'm sometimes in this industry, people come out with figures fast and furious and whatever, and blah, 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 and it sounds nefarious. I'll translate for the audience. You're actually saying that they are going to expand and have 62.5 square miles of buildings.
No.
Is that actually what you're saying?
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that we want to know the scale. How big is it? How much water will you need? How much water is going to be required? Are you going to consume more electricity than the entire state of Salt Lake City? Good. Do you guys have have a plan?
Who is we?
Anybody that is manufacturing data centers anywhere on American soil.
No. Hang on. You said we want to know. Who?
The American people.
Okay, great. No problem. I got it. I just want to make sure that I'm doing so. This real plan's about control. You said that there's going to be an environmental fallout. Tell me about the environmental fallout. You've said it's high energy demands. It is EMF output, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me what the environmental concerns are for these data centers outside water. We covered water.
Yeah. So again, to circle back to water, medium-sized data centers. So let's say that the 5,000 data centers that are in the United States, let's say that the biggest one is, outside of Virginia. Let's say that the 1.8 million square foot, and you got 20,000 square foot. So let's say medium. Can we just agree that 500,000 square feet would be a medium-sized data center?
You disagree with that, or we disagree with that?
No, I'm asking you, would you agree that 500,000 square feet could be a medium-sized data center?
Yes.
Okay. A medium-sized data center reports that they would use 110 million gallons of water specifically for cooling.
And where do you get that number?
That number is pulled out of the statistics from water. So the Environmental Protection Agency.
So you have no problem with me, because I'm about to show you the actual water stats, real-time usage stats.
I'm just going off of what the EPA could estimate.
That's what
size could use.
Well, you said actual and you said estimate. And those are two different words at opposite ends of the spectrum. Actual is not 100%. Estimate's not actual, and that's actually not how it's allotted. Tell me about the because I want to know the environmental massive energy demands EMF output. I want to know about the crisis you're predicting in environmental, because I'm going to address it.
Perfect. Can we talk about water first?
We're going to in a minute. We're going to circle back to it. I just want to get back to, these are your 5 points. These aren't my 5 points.
Gotcha.
Okay? Your point number 4 was environmental fallout. I'm trying to give you every single point.
Okay, gotcha. So EMF I would put in there along with not only the large amount of hums that people are hearing. Fayetteville, Georgia, if you're about 1.2 to 5 miles away from the city, you can go outside. And when I call it a city, it's a massive data center that's in Fayetteville, Georgia. People that used to be able to open up their windows at night, let the cool air in, there's a constant hum of electricity.
Have you documented that as a
I've
researcher?
I've been in Fayetteville, Georgia. We've been a mile.
I didn't ask if you visited. I said, I'm very specific on my words. Have you been to Fayetteville, documented and recorded that hum that you're talking about? It's just a simple question.
Yes, we have it. We have.
And what is the hum over the natural ambient it was prior? What's the difference?
Prior would be that in Fayetteville, Georgia, where I've stayed at an Airbnb 4 years ago when we were doing a home show outside of Rome. We were on our way up to Washington, D.C., stayed there, and the ambient noise level has increased significantly, and it doesn't stop.
And why do you think that was?
It's because of the diesel backup generators. It's from the trucks that are coming in and out. It's the millions and millions of supercomputers that are running.
Might I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
So just a little bit. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. You said it's because the diesel backup generators. Well,
correct. You have to test the generators. So even if they're not a backup, you're constantly having to run the diesel generators. You have to test them periodically. You also
hold on. Constantly run the generators and periodically are two different things on the opposite spectrum.
You're right.
Running it constantly. Hold on. Yep. One is running them periodically, testing.
Thank you. They have to constantly check the diesel generators.
How often?
How often? At least I would say at least once a week. They have to fire them up to make sure that they're running.
Okay, so you happened to be there 4 years ago.
Before the data center was built.
When the diesel generators were running, and you noticed this hum 4 years ago.
No, I said this is 4 years ago when I was there before the data center was built.
Oh, okay, but now you've been back to the data center since.
Correct.
Okay, you lost me. I thought you said you were there 4 years ago, and there was the data center hum. That's all I'm trying to figure out, because
there was a hum. There was a hum
disconnecting with me.
Yeah, because the hum was built after the center had opened. Before, it was just a local. You'd hear crickets, you'd hear a little bit of street traffic. Now it's a constant, continuous hum.
Okay, and so the data center became operational in early 25.
Correct.
And so you're saying you could hear the building humming.
Everybody can hear it. Anybody that lives within a mile.
I'm only asking about you because I only want to go on firsthand account.
Perfect. Yes.
If you know me and my audience, I don't care what other people say. I care what the people doing it said. You also said that this is going to threaten the food supply. Tell me how you think this is going to threaten the food supply, and that it's going to create food scarcity, raising prices, etc. This was a follow-up on your environmental fallout. Help me understand that.
So you're talking about farmland that is being purchased. If you drive from, let's just say, Michigan to Indiana, you will see about 7 million signs that are saying no AI data centers. The farmers that we've talked to said they don't want to sell their land. They want to continue to sell. We know that the American population depends on farmers. It is the backbone of America, growing our own food.
Right.
So we are independent. Right. I think 100%, if we start selling farmland to AI data centers, there is going to be an increase in food.
You said you saw 7 million signs, meaning a euphemism of tons of signs. We don't want to sell our farmland. Now, the largest farm purchase that's been on the table for an AI data center, do you happen to know what that is?
How many acres?
I'm asking you.
Nope, don't know.
126 acres.
That was the largest one that's been sold so far.
It's the largest one that's been up for bid and grabs, being tried to get a hold of. Now,
where was that? Where was that at?
That one was in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I can give you the stats on all. In fact, if you want to jump to stats, let's just drop to this. Here's the historical timeline of water usage in the United States. We're going to start with supplied wells, et cetera, in the United States. If you look at where we were our peak water consumption in the United States of about 47 billion gallons of water a day in 1970. Now, this has basically been reduced right now, meaning U.S. usage, to about 14.8 billion gallons. So we've decreased this by a third. And in all fairness to you, Mike, I have built the single largest rainwater collection plant in North or South America. Water is very, very, very critical to me. I'm a water whore, so I understand what you're saying. Now, have you seen some of these numbers here that they're talking about 15 billion gallons a day or 133 billion gallons withdrawn daily? Have you seen some of those numbers? And when they're talking about this scenario of data centers and AI?
I don't think it's going to be that. I think that's an extreme number.
Okay, let me show you what those numbers are. I'm glad you said that. Since the 1950s and 60s, in what is called our self-supply industrial. Our self-supply industrial currently uses 15 billion gallons of water a day. That's what goes on right now in the United States of America. 15 billion gallons of water a day. We use in the United States, we use 133 billion gallons a day every day since 1970 for our thermoelectric power systems in the United States. 133 billion gallons of water a day, every day since 1970. This is why I wanted to discuss this issue with water. I understand water like the back of my hand, and anywhere I can dig a pond, I'm digging a pond. Family lives on rivers, I know it. But let me tell you what some of these numbers really are. Right now, our thermoelectric power plants use 100 to 500 million, each single plant in the United States right now uses 100 to 500 million gallons of water a day. Stay with me. I'm doing this for a reason, because in your stuff, it's talking about it could be 4 million gallons a day. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to this. Hang with me. ExxonMobil right now, just in Baton Rouge only, uses 20 million gallons of water a day, every single day. And Mike, I'll send these to you so you have them, so you can cross-check them, but uses 20 million gallons every single day. Now, that's just ExxonMobil. I'm trying to give you some of the offenders. If you were to look at the paper mills, by the way, Mike, there's 4 of these mills in close proximity to you. Each of them on average use 12 to 30 million gallons of water a day, every day. The semiconductor industry uses 5 to 10 million gallons of water a day, every day. Steel producers use 100 million gallons of water a day for every day. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your alarm's water, but you're talking about places where and you can bet, I'm going to show you the facts. You're talking about places where they're saying 4 million gallons of water a day or 2 million gallons. And I'm going to give you the real numbers here when we get to it. Why the disconnect? What made you key up on this is an environmental thing when there's billions of gallons of water that nobody's talking about?
I have not seen one person outside of all of those places that you just listed saying that in the past 10 years, they've been able to take showers in their house. They've been able to drink clean water. The issues now, because of it, not saying it doesn't exist, because you and I both know the internet is a crazy thing. You've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, and you've got people that can go live on X. It's now been brought to my attention that the data centers are affecting water pressure on American soil. When somebody can't take a shower, which is it's a human right. I think it's a human right. Do we need to shower to live?
Have you ever heard the Shingham Network?
No.
Okay, give me a few minutes. I'm going to lead you down a path here for an intentional reason, and I'm going to explain to you the Shingham network and what's really going on. Let me give you a few other numbers. The water problem in the United States of America, basically, here's what we've got. This is the timeline of water usage in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We are at one of our lowest levels ever in the United States of America in using water. Do you know what hasn't changed? The amount of rainfall we get.
Correct.
And we've got 100 years of data almost on the rainfall. So the rainfall has never changed. But there is this environmental water scarcity problem that gets talked about a lot. But statistically, we are at our lowest water large-scale usage. Let me give you some of these exact numbers. You talked about the data centers. Now, you mentioned Virginia. You know, the single largest data center in the United States is right outside Chicago.
Correct.
Then the next one you have is basically Reston, Virginia. It's right outside Virginia is where it started. That's the old AOL hub. Here are your top facilities. Now, right now, we've got about 5,300 data centers in the United States. Stay with me. I'm going to give you the exact numbers. Most of those the vast majority of those are 20,000 backwards, not forward. So here's the big guys' number. Let me give you some of the big guys' numbers. Right now in energy usage, because this is one of the issues, is the U.S. data power usage. The number one thing right now going on in the United States to use this power is what's called 350 Chermack. That's Chermack Road in Chicago. We're talking the megawatts they use is nuts. They're second only to O'Hare Airport. Now, you got to understand data rooms. You got to understand data rooms when you understand power and water, because they go hand in hand. If you don't understand water, you don't understand power. So let's take a look at the power. I'm going to go back. I just told you the single largest data anything in the United States has been running almost for 100 years. It's been running as a large data center for over 70 years. I'm going to take you back in time. On the left are these older legacy data centers. This is where almost most of the stuff in the United States right now happens, where it actually happens. If you look on the right side, which is what everybody's up in arms about, data centers, Google, Elon, Klaus Schwab, and all this other stuff, we are anywhere from 30 to 80% more efficient with power now than the very thing you're powering your home in right now. That's efficiency. This is documented numbers. I'm going to tell you why I'm giving you these numbers, Mike. So this particular one that I told you is the big grid right there that has been used forever. And you go to, that's been literally consuming 100 megawatts. We're talking, this is off the scale massive. And it's been doing that every day for 20 years, every single day for 20 years. We got a grid problem in the United States, which we're going to talk about, because you're right. This is an environmental problem. I'm going to show you how this data center stuff truly is an environmental problem. But this is the data center map. Find your state, folks, in the United States of America. Find your state. In those, you can see how many data centers are in your states. Now, it basically works like this. It's 2020 before, 2020 after. That's how you should look at data centers. Here's what you need to know about this data center stuff that's coming out. And Mike, you play a very key important part of this because you're a health professional, and this is an environmental issue. And I'm going to explain, I'm going to bring this home for you of what truly the numbers are. First off, folks, find your state. Find your state. Okay? Now, here's some of the numbers you need to know. Pharmaceuticals right now in the United States, just pharmaceuticals, uses, it's probably 300 million, we were conservative, uses easily 200 million gallons of water every single day. That's the pharmaceutical industry. Now we're going to hop to the other one. Johnson & Johnson alone, one place, draws 7.43 million cubic meters of water. That's 1.96 billion gallons of water a year, 5.4 million gallons of water a day, every single day like clockwork. Mike, here's my question. Why aren't we bitching about that?
I think we need to bitch about them too. I think they need to be
No,
held
I agree.
responsible.
But I'm going to show you what the play is. I think you're going to be shocked when you see what the play is of why this information has been siloed. And I'm telling you, it's nefarious. If we were to look at, is it Merck? Here it is. Merck alone uses 14 million gallons a day. Now, people are bitching about data centers, completely bitching about data centers, but they're going to use 5 million gallons of water a day. Here's the deal, folks. There is their actual usage, and then there's what they've been allotted. Most of them really don't peak at about 1 million, but I'm also going to explain that. Let's take a look at the bottled water usage in the United States. Again, remember, we're talking about doom and gloom and data centers and going to take over the world and going to ruin everything, and we got to stand up against it. Well, let me ask you a question. 44.4 million gallons of water a day just in our beverage industry. Tell you what, you want to give up a soda? Give up a soda so we win the AI race. No, we're not going to bitch about drinks. We're not going to bitch about drinks. I want my water. 44 million gallons a day. It gets worse. Okay. When you look at, they talk about these things for power, and I just showed you, we are 50 to 80% more efficient on power right now in every center that goes in than we've ever been in the history of time. Oh, by the way, 6 hours ago, news broke. You can read it. University of Illinois Urbana, which I happen to be one of their licensees and work with, introduced a brand new chip, 3D printed, made completely out of copper, reduces the energy heat footprint 98%. But you don't hear about those. Anyway, data centers, they might get approved for 5 million gallons a day. So I want you to understand what that means. That's about a town of about 10 to 50,000 people.
Correct.
Okay. This is about 10 to 15,000 people of what it is. But here's what you got to look at. Did you know that in poultry processing, that's about the size of a data center, they use 5 million gallons of water a day? Not they're approved for 5 million. Data center may be approved for 5, uses 1 million. There are 360 plants right now in the United States just for processing chickens. That use 5 million gallons of water a day.
That's one facility.
One facility.
Correct.
There are 360. So when you talk about 5 million gallons, it's 5 million gallons times 360. I'm telling you, one chicken plant, one processing plant meets the scale that they use 5 million gallons of water a day. Where are the protests? Well, we'll just stop eating chicken. I have a point to this. Let me get through my madness and do it, because this is mission critical to our future. When you talk about EMF, the EMF of a data center is measured in inches. Inches. The EMF from a server effectively dwindles at 2.5 inches. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about data centers. When you go to a transmission line, this is a hub where the energy comes from, which is not a data center. It's 80 times magnitude to 100 times magnitude. Now, why should we worry about those? Because we have 75,000 of those power substations in the United States generating 20 to 50 times higher EMF than the 5,300 data centers we have. You're beginning to see a method to this madness, folks. Hang on, because I want to go through it. We have 7,500 power stations. We have 2 million miles of transit lines that bombard this down. But yet, we want to talk about data centers and they're going to ruin the world. Here are the substation maps. You can look this up. This is all public data. You can look at every single part of it. Now, Mike, here's my issue. I understand every one of your points. Whoever wrote your copy wrote one hell of an SEO targeted pitch on your Substack. Here it is. But I want to tell you maybe a little bit more of the story that you might not know that I think you should want to know. Basically, it's called the Singham, Singham, the Singham Network. Have you ever heard of the Singham Network?
Yes, but I don't know very vastly much. I mean, to talk to me about the
Earlier, I asked, you said no. Now you're saying yes. You mean you looked
told
it
me
up?
about it. Yeah,
You looked it up in
because you
between.
told
We
no,
said it.
you just told me about it.
Okay, great. Here's what the Singam network is. First off, I got a general question. Do you believe the media did a total freaking con job of everybody in the world? There was the safest, secure election in 2020. Do you believe that?
No,
That they did a con job to us?
100%.
Yeah. So you know that the media crapped in our cranium, right?
Yeah,
You know that half of the United States of America will swear that Joe Biden won. I'm using rough numbers and I don't think it's real. And half of them will say, no, Donald Trump won. So you understand the power of that influence, right?
100%.
Okay, great. Basically, the reason I even did this topic is because I looked at all of this stuff. And I'm a guy who actually knows these numbers, and I live in this world every single day. I want to tell you what's actually going on. This is what's called the Singham Network. Now, Singham is a fellow by the name of Neville Roy Singham, who basically cycles through a system of about $738 million right now in the dark money to go against AI. And the dark money to go against AI is about $2 billion. $2 billion is in play right now. Now, what's going on? China, we are at war with China. This is war.
Yeah.
We are at war with China. China has a vested interest in us not getting into AI and data centers.
Correct.
Now, I just showed you all the stats.
Yeah, because they want to win the race.
Well, it's not about winning the race. It's much more nefarious. I want you to understand what happens. Number one, if China completes this circle, if they get it done, right now in your phone, and by the way, why can I talk on this? My software is on every single mobile device in the world. That means I set 100% on the Android side. I set 100% on the Apple side. The new chips that are coming in the phones, which they say are coming out of Taiwan, are actually made by the Chinese government. In very short order, it will not matter whether you're on Lindell TV, Getter, Rumble, Twitter. If China doesn't want you to see it on your mobile phone, it ain't coming through. And by the way, guys, that's already done. Now, I started blowing the whistle on this 8 years ago when I told you about Red Dawn 2.0 and you hit a brick wall. That was all done with a manufacturer maneuver. Now, where we sit right now, if in fact we allow China to beat us, here's what's going to happen. They will finally complete total industrial dominance of the USA. And let me tell you why. Number one, the environmental cause of rare earth minerals, we actually have them in the United States. China funded the environmental fight of don't mine in the United States. You're going to poison the water. You're going to poison people. You're going to poison them with heavy metals. And you know what the United States of America did? We enacted laws not to dig them. We enacted laws not to mine them. We got the public all wrapped up about it. And we don't mine our own rare earth minerals. And once they get it in the law, we can't outdo it. Now, why does this matter? Because China controls that destiny right now, 100%. Let me tell you why they did it. Because people talking out there about shit, they had no idea what they were talking about. And what they did is they got a lot of people upset. It's going to kill and it's going to die. And my babies and the Palestinians and the winger-wingers and the gay people and the lesbian one-heart. And everybody bitched about it. Well, while you weren't watching, we gave that away. Now, what you might not know about rare earth minerals, aside from being in the phone, they're in all our transformers right now. And every transformer that runs through our power lines in the United States, that device, which downgrades our power, which so you don't shock yourself, is currently manufactured in China. You know why it's manufactured in China? Because we're not allowed to manufacture them here and we don't have the minerals.
So the greater threat could be they could shut down our electrical grid system.
It's already over. It's already over. Let me tell you how bad it is. Because of people talking about what they know nothing about, people doing keywording, people doing SEOing. Oh, look at me, clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. We went through this same thing with rare earth minerals long ago, but it was kind of before the internet, so people didn't pay attention. China not only got it, but you experienced one in your life. What are you, about 37?
Pretty close.
Okay. In your lifetime, you experienced where people said, you can't have a drone. Drones are going to be illegal. You're going to interfere with planes. Every bit of that funded through China. Let me tell you why. Right now, when you have to register to get your drone license, you now have to be officially registered, and you're going to do video. That goes through a chip to China. That entire pilot center that clears our pilots all sets in China. It all runs through China. What's the number one use of drones right now in the United States? Managing our power lines. And so for about 12 years, because we started blowing the whistle to the military then, China has mapped every single inch of our power grid, every single inch.
Yep.
They know right now they can fly with a piece of chain about 30 to 40 feet in length, use drones, drop it over a central place in LA. California will be without power for 3 years because we can't even get the replacement parts. This is why I'm talking about this so hard. People don't understand this is war. Let me tell you what happens if China gets ahead of on this. Number one, they're going to have final, all-exclusive industrial and supply chain dominance. They will use AI to predict what's coming next. They'll do logistics on it, critical materials. Where are we going to run into critical materials? They're going to crater the market before it happens. Number two, it will allow them to circumvent every single tech platform in the United States. There will be no more controls. You will not only not be able to see content, they will control every bit of the content. Next, all of the talent around the world for computing, China will find them first. Next, this is the force multiplier in autonomous systems and superiority. You actually say in your promo materials, it's to monitor us, it's the surveillance stuff. Yeah, for China, not the United States of America. We have to run so fast right now, right? So fast right now to get ahead of this that we have to dominate in it. My audience knows me. I basically showed you how China infiltrated a building next to the power plant, made a reactor go nuke. Why'd they do it? They did it all through the software. You got to understand what happens. We are, in the most serious way in the world, almost over. This is our Sputnik moment, folks. Now, let me tell you why I'm even given this. They will be able to influence every single foreign report. They are spending $2 billion to do this right now. It's being run by the Shingham Network. You can look it up yourself. It's being fueled by dark money, and it's 100% to get people to say, AI center, data bad, oh my God, kill everything, die everything, we're going to be puppets. Mike, no offense, but I sit in this space, and I'm trying to figure out why so many people repeat crap, don't do their homework, don't go to the source and repeat it. Now, yes, it'll get viewers, but let me tell you what, Mike, you might not realize it, but you're selling for China. I don't get that. I do not get that. And it happens nonstop. And I'm telling you right now, I know you're not doing it intentionally. I know that. I 100% know you're not doing it intentionally.
Right. But you also have to remember, I did say to you that it is a matter of national security for us to win the AI race. That doesn't matter in saying it.
Mike, we're talking about your materials and what you say. Mike, you fund China.
So does everybody that buys a fucking phone. So does everybody that buys clothes.
There you go. Don't get upset. Mike, don't get upset. We got to understand what this is.
But listen, we're at a point now where we have given them so much power. Do you think that Elon Musk and all of these people are going to pull us through this race?
100%. 100%.
If we
I'll tell you how.
They're going to lose support if people can't take showers. If they can't put the AI data centers to where they're imposing taxes on us, if our electrical bills are going up, All we're saying is with the trillions of dollars that are being funded,
show me one place where the shower went down because of an AI data center.
Fayetteville, Georgia.
No, you're telling me what you've heard.
I've seen it. I've seen the water pressure.
No, what you've seen, just so you know, is the Shingham network, which I've shown many times, where they go into data centers, they go into our shipping lines, they go into our railing lines, they get into the data hub, and they dial it back.
So we're being attacked.
I can prove this to you hands down. Imagine let me tell you how bad this is. Being inside a shipping industry Titan's office saying, we've got control of your ship. And they say, no way, call your ship. They dial the ship, you got control of the ship? Yes, we do. And then to get told in the same room with experts, okay, the ship is now going to make a turn to the stern. And it turns. And the guy's saying, I still have control. Being on the rail lines in the United States of America, and those little bitty hubs that sit in the rail line have 2 data people there at any one time. Look at who's online in that data hub, and there's 150 people.
Mm-hmm.
Shut it all off, reboot the system, the 2 come back on, but you didn't have 148 people ask what's happened, give me a new password. Which is the same thing you found in LA with these healthcare companies and hospice saying, why didn't I get my check when Dr. Oz shut it down? Here's what I'm saying. Number one, I don't believe you were there at down water pressure. I believe you heard about it, but I'm telling you, these are mass manipulations to create these talking points because nobody is doing their homework. But I guarantee you, you give me the day, date, and time that it happened, we can go to that municipal water facility and we can look at their records and I'll find how it was twiddled down. And see, this is the deal. Nobody does their homework. This is what upsets me. Good people get used to foster this war. Good people get used. Yeah, but. Nothing. A patriot's not a patriot because they say they're a patriot. A Christian's not a Christian because they wear a cross on the outside of their shirt. What people don't understand about this is we are fucking at war.
100%.
And repeating these talking points, just to repeat them, never bringing on an expert, assuming you have an expert because somebody once was on Lindell TV and talked about power, so that must be an expert. We're hurting ourselves. We're killing ourselves. Let me tell you about these systems in data centers. Number one, we're in a fast rush right now with data centers to reduce the environmental footprint. I've already showed you how it's going to 50 and 80%. We also are reducing the environmental impact of the environmental air and water. Do you know who holds that patent? This guy.
You?
Do you know why I have that patent? Because I understand what's up and how this is done. So I'm in the middle of this every day. What people don't know about data centers is there's actually 3 things in play. Number one, there's a fast move where it's kind of like Rosie the Riveter, World War II, where, you know, probably your great-grandparents, because you're so young, but your great-grandparents had to donate metal and all this stuff, and everybody had to pitch in and do it. Well, we had to move fast to get some of these up, like Colossus in Memphis, which is Elon Musk. That's number one. But you had to do it. You had to do it fast, or we'd have been too far behind China. Gen 2, which most people don't know, is the systems are circular. You might prime it with 5 or 6 million gallons of water. One time. Not every day, not every minute of the day, but you might prime it. Now, I just also told you, I gave you the future that the news broke 6 hours ago versus this. This is part of why I even agreed to do this. Yes, at some time, this water that goes through the 1 million gallons, by the way, you hear 5 million gallons. That's what they're approved for, up to 5 million gallons. What they actually use is about 1.1 million, depending on the center, and that's a pretty good center. But what currently is going on is evaporative technology. So it's got to run the water through it, and it's in the evaporation, which is a very old way to do it. You can use the evaporation part to cool these things, and you don't have to use the chemicals.
Meaning no glycol. So meaning if you're talking about a closed loop system.
Well, that's glycol. That's something different. That's not water.
Right, but glycol can be added to the water if it gets super hot.
And it becomes, no, you don't, it's not one or the other. You're either doing water or you've got a glycol enhanced system, which is a closed system.
Closed. It's a closed loop
Closed.
system.
That means it's not put back in the groundwater. It's not discharged. It's not thrown out. It's like people saying we're going to get high metal densities in it. There's no manufacturing process involved. These are some of the lies that are being paid for to make sure America stands behind. Next, most of the Gen 3 centers, which are underway right now, are water generating, not water using, water generating. They actually, by the use, because they're using power, power always involves heat. They're actually generating water, not consuming water, generating water. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of gallons at any one time being generated. So they're going water positive. The next part of
what, though? Are they using atmospheric?
Well, you can always pull water out of the atmosphere, but there's many different ways to do it. I mean, you should know this. You're in the hydrogen business.
Yeah, but I mean, the atmospheric water is going to cause more cost on electrical. That's why we're not using it main
Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
No, there's no cost in electrical. Zero.
For atmospheric water generator?
Zero.
How are you going to run an atmospheric water generator without electricity?
That's the point. Where do you think the electricity is coming from?
It's coming from some power supply, either from the grid.
That's it. Everybody thinks. They immediately think they know, which is power comes from the grid. Why do you think President Trump at the State of the Union says tech companies are going energy sovereign? The issue is not sucking from the grid. The issue is reversed. They're all going energy sovereign. They're their own energy companies. Our grid is only the backup.
Correct.
And that's another common misnomer. Power, why aren't they using solar? Why aren't they using wind? Because it doesn't work. No. Solar is net 7%.
Correct.
If you want to put solar, that's what you need 40,000 acres for, because it's useless, it's limited, and puts out such little power. But come by, yeah, it's great. No, it's not great. And so just so you know, when you understand the thermal dynamics of all of this and you understand how it's done, number one, just the fact that they're working off natural gas or just the fact that they work off heat, they actually generate their own net power. Own net power can actually pull the water atmospherically out, aside from what even happens in the line, which the lines of what they're using for power to begin with, which is about 12% water. Next, just so you know, this is going to be the single largest boom to agricultural in the history of mankind. Do you know why?
Tell me.
It will be the largest boom to agriculture because now, thanks to AI, you can no longer hide behind NPK and the phosphates and the nitrates. All the empirical data will be no longer to be able to help. This is going to change all pharmacology. This is going to change all medicines. This is going to change agriculture. That's going to put us back to a sustainable future of literally growing our own inputs, not relying on chemical manufactured inputs. That's why the deep state's fighting this. See, if you understand that NPK that's put into the ground, our nitrogen, our phosphates, and the potassium that we put in the ground, it's put in the ground because it's a byproduct of bomb manufacturing from World War II. They had to figure a place to do it. Spill it on the ground. Yes, it does cause the plants to bloom, but it kills everything in the soil. So right now in the United States, our soil's almost dead, right?
Yes.
So in order to keep it yielding, you got to keep putting those inputs in. The reason the deep state is fighting this and coming out with so much information, they know that multi-billion-dollar industry is about to be ended with AI. And the way it's about to be ended with AI is you can't hide the data anymore. You can't hide the reports. It can do the numbers. It can look at the growth. It can look at the output. It can look at the statistics. You won't be able to see it. Also, just like I told you, they're manipulating the water control and sewage control centers. That won't be allowed to happen anymore. Why? It's just like what happened in election integrity. You think I'm only second to Google and I found this algorithm when they have no basis in it, means nothing. AI prevents that kind of expert bullshit from happening because it will see it when it happens, know who's authorized, know who's not in the system, and immediately boot them out. Right now, we can't see it.
So let me ask you a question then. Based on everything that you're uncovering, do you think that we should be owning up our balls as Americans and we should stop cutting off oil going to China? Should we be in China right now with troops on the ground to stop what they're doing?
No, we can't. No.
Is it because why?
How much oil do we get through the Hormuz Strait?
Less than 5% for us? Zero? So it doesn't affect us.
How does it affect us?
No, I said so it doesn't. We don't.
No, it affects us because OPEC makes our decisions on what's on oil prices.
Correct.
We don't get any oil from there.
Oil is traded in U.S. dollars. So
how does it? Well, it's a good thing. But how does it affect? Well, it affects MPK. It affects agriculture inputs that these foreign countries are in. Do we need to go in China and do this? First off, number one, China doesn't have billions of people. I think China's lying. That's number one. And I've been boots on the ground in China. I'm not speaking out my ass. I'm not speaking what I saw some influencer that used to work at Fucko Taco Bell, and now I've got a show, and I'm going to tell you what the real. I've been boots on the fucking ground.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I've been to the Canton
So
Fair.
what I'm telling you,
I think they're lying about their population.
They're lying. They're lying horribly about their population.
But you brought up a very good point, and I'm not going to try to turn AI into a conspiracy, a whole other level of topics that you and I could talk about. But you brought up something that was really important. When you talk about the nitrogen, you said that the soil is dying. I have taken soil samples. I have read soil samples, and you were right. American soil is dying here in the United States. Do you believe that China is somehow behind the spraying of atmospheric aluminum in the United States?
You actually believe that shit?
100% without a doubt, there is something that is fucking up our soil.
Okay, no, that's not. I didn't ask about that. So you can go atmospheric here, and you can go soil.
Correct.
You just water sprayed in the air. How many planes have you investigated?
That's not my level of expertise.
Okay, so you're basically repeating what you've been told.
Nope. I'm asking you, can they do it atmospherically or through the water?
I asked you if you believed it. You didn't ask me if can they do it atmospherically. You asked me, what do we do about this? I said, do you believe that shit? And you said, absolutely so, which means
100%. I believe somebody is manipulating the soil in the United States. 100%.
Okay, but soil's not air and air is not soil.
Correct. So how is it getting into the soil?
Ready?
Water.
It's called Americans.
So they're delivering it through the water systems.
No. Let me tell you how they do it. You have no farmers in your family, do you?
Nope.
Okay. What city did you grow up in, brother?
Florida.
Okay.
Palm Beach County.
You suffered, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you how this works. Because I come out of large landowners, farmers, ranchers. First off, right now in the United States of America, and it's what my newest book is on, by the way.
What's the name of your book?
That particular one's called Grow Soil Bible.
Grow Soil Bible.
You don't even know some of the things I read on, but that's okay. Hang on. Literally, here's how it works. Right now in the United States of America, a farmer has to use agricultural inputs.
Correct.
It's not an option. If you decide not to use agricultural inputs, you do not get farm loans. You do not get subsidies. You don't be put on the government subsidy that will clear out your crops. You have to use them. Now, what is farm inputs? That's pesticides, phosphates, NPKs, extra. The United States farmer right now spends $435 per acre per year for inputs. If you got 1,000 acres, that's a small farmer. 1,000 acres, that's $435,000 you are paying every year to those inputs, pesticides and NPK, that if you don't, the government's not going to back your crops. So what happens is the farmers get in debt. They got to spray more, they got to do more, they got to try to do it faster. They try to do it with equipment. So they sign these loans, which are backed by our government, but the government comes with hooks. You must be using these inputs. Therefore, every year you keep on putting them on, you keep on putting them on, you keep on putting them on because you have no choice. You ever wonder why the highest single suicide rate in the United States of America is the American farmer? That's why, because they realize they've hooked their entire net worth to a cycle that they cannot get out of because they're signing these contracts 10, 20 years in a row. They can't do it, which is how we have lost from 18,000 family farms down to we're not even a third of that anymore, meaning producing in the system. That's the rig. Mike, our system does it to us. We don't need China to do it. We don't need Venezuela or Serbia or all that shit. It's how our system's rigged. And so American farmers have two choices. Here's the two choices. I'm going to tell you how this rig works. Literally, you either buy into the system and inputs, or you're not part of the system.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other rig. Take Doug McMillon, who just left Walmart as CEO, has left. Well, BlackRock, here's how BlackRock does their thing. BlackRock, and you got to understand how this works in the extortion business. It's not like you think. They're going, oh, I'm buddy, I'm Klaus Schwab. It's not how it works. So BlackRock, which handles tens of millions of retirement accounts, tens of millions, they go over to Doug at Walmart and say, you need to have a female board member. And she needs to be black. And you got to make sure she has a dick, but you're going to swear she's a woman. Now, hang on. It's not a joke. Listen, hear me out, brother. They're going to go in and they're going to tell Doug, you better have a black woman with a dick board member. And you are going to absolutely make every employee in your company sign a pledge to acknowledge pronouns and to say that transgenderism is real. By the way, you can verify me on this.
Oh, I believe it.
Let's say, Doug, let me tell you how it works.
That's how they destroy us. That's how they destroy us from within.
Well, hang on. That's what I'm telling you. And we all fall for this stuff, and that's how we get it. But hang on. So Doug has a choice. Now, his compensation package is in excess of $40 million a year. And he deserves it, by the way. But what they do is they come in and tell him to do it. Now, he could either stand up for America and say, fuck you, which he's not going to do, because he's first going to take care of his family. Number one, he'll be a pariah for the rest of his life. He'll never be able to make any more money. They'll destroy him. The second part is what BlackRock does is say, we got, let's call it 30 million people have Walmart in our retirement portfolio. Let me tell you what we're going to do, Doug. You're going to do this. And if you don't, tomorrow we're going to issue a 1-paragraph letter, and it's going to say, we have decided to remove Walmart from all our retirement investment funds. They don't even have to say why. When they do that memo, the market will panic and go, what the fuck do they know we don't know about Walmart? And he'll go, Larry Fink will go, Doug, I'm right. And people will start dumping Walmart stock. You got millions of stock. Your stock ain't going to be worth shit. Now, by the way, Doug, we hope you say fucking no, because when it drops to nothing, we're still going to buy more in pennies and we're going to own more than 18%. We're going to get up to 50%. So fuck you. What are you going to do?
Then they control the vote completely.
That's how it works. That's how every bit of this works. It is financial extortion. And most people don't understand this in farming. You asked about earth, right? I'm the same way. Look, yes, I'm very hard on this stuff, but I am a water whore. I am all about sustainable, right? We can do this ourselves. We don't need all these inputs. We can change everything, but the system won't let you. I'm about as green as they come. I'm just not a meanie greenie, because I think that's being a fucking ignorant. You don't have to be doom and gloomy to show it. But here's the deal. The system won't let people out. Here's what's last but not least. Doug, in their produce department, made a promise not to buy sustainable produce. So you're not going to get in Walmart. You're not going to get in the distribution system. And by the way, that's why BlackRock bought into every major grocery store chain. There ain't a workaround.
No, listen, you're preaching to the choir, man, because like when I actually have a very good friend of mine who's from China, and when he came here to America, he told me he grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, moved to Orlando, Florida. And this guy said to me, he goes, the biggest con that was ever put on the American people was putting fucking grass in your yard. He goes, when you go to China, he goes, all of our yards are filled with fruit producing trees. He goes, we grow our own fruit. He goes, and you guys are out there trying to manicure and have a look like the Augusta Links golf course.
It's all
he
the
goes,
time.
rip up all that crap. He goes, make care of your own soil. And that's what big government is afraid of, because if every American citizen here said, I'm not cutting my grass anymore, I'm going to put some minerals and I'm going to put some natural cow manure and I'm going to grow my own schoolyard type, elementary level type garden, carrots and cucumbers, we would solve America's food crisis immediately.
But you're right, which we did during World War II with the Victory Gardens, but
Yes.
something else happened.
Yes.
Homeowners associations started outlawing gardens.
Yes.
And you can't have gardens. Let me show you this real quick, since you might not know. Here's my newest book, Mike.
Here's what is inside the pharmacy. Grow Soil Bible. Beautiful gardens, bountiful harvests, and homesteading abundant black gold. For too long, modern agriculture has poisoned the very ground beneath our feet. Synthetic NPK fertilizers delivered bigger yields at a devastating cost. They wiped out the teeming microbial life that once made soil rich, alive, and endlessly productive, trapping us in a cycle of chemical dependence and dying farmland. Now is the time to fight back. The Grow Soil Bible takes you on a powerful journey back to the ancient wisdom that created the world's most fertile soils. Discover the secrets of Amazonian terra preta, also called black gold, born from biochar, fish bones, compost, and microbial magic. Master the art of Chinese green tea composting and Japanese bokashi to transform kitchen scraps and yard waste into living, breathing super soil. Whether you're a backyard gardener, passionate homesteader, or family determined to build real food security, this book gives you everything you need. Step-by-step instructions, precise natural ingredients lists, and proven techniques to grow your own ultra-fertile dirt instead of buying dead bags from the store. Become a true dirt farmer. Revive the microorganisms that power life. Break free from synthetic slavery and slow chemical suicide, and create abundant, nutrient-dense harvests that feed your family for generations. Your garden, your orchard, your future. It all starts with the soil. Reclaim the earth. Grow your own black gold.
So, Mike, see, we're closer than we're apart. By the way, folks, I just kind of looked it up while that thing was running. We're probably 300 books away from being a #1 bestseller again with this new release. So we should hit #1 here in short order. Mike, here's my whole point. Data centers are freaking critical in AI. But it's critical because this is the war, and we have to win this. And when you really look at the water consumption in the United States, #1, it's a lie that we don't have water. It's a total lie, a total absolute lie. Rainfall we have still falls. Every inch of rain per 1,000 feet at a standard roof incline generates 660 gallons of water. Here's the numbers. Every 1,000 square feet of roof for every inch of rain generates 660 gallons of water. Now, you probably live in an area that's 46 inches to probably 50 inches of rain a year. Your house, just your house alone, generates far more water than you use.
100%. Move the data centers to Florida, baby. Stop putting them in Arizona.
Well, no. Arizona also has water.
Enough?
Arizona has far than enough water to run a data center because it's not the data centers. Arizona, it's a racket. The #1 subsidized item in the world is water. Do you know what the global price for water is a gallon? $24 a gallon.
Wow.
Because of subsidies. It's a fucking racket. And they're trying to do this Al Gore shit. We have just as much water. Here's what happens. Our water doesn't fall on natural ground anymore. It falls on highways and concretes and parking lots. The cities don't deal with it. They shoot it right to the drainage system. It goes right out to the ocean and has to be desalinized if you want to do it. And by the way, we can do AI cooling with salinized water. It doesn't have to be desalinized to do it. You just have to shake the salts every now and then. No big deal. That's the racket. The racket is they have to play in the scarce business. Now, this doesn't mean use water and let your water hose run. You know, I'm 62. When we were kids, we played in the water all fucking day long and never ever thought about it, right? And there's nothing better in the world than a hot day and water out of the water hose is the best tasting water you can imagine. But anyway, we let it run out to the ocean. Now, that doesn't mean one of my homes had, when I bought the model home, had 60 some odd freaking sprinklers in it. I immediately cut that to 12, got rid of them all. You don't need that. We're overdoing it. Our lawns are a racket, our homeowners association a racket, and our farming's a racket. But here's the deal. We never paid attention. We never asked where it came from, ever. We never asked what's going on. When we have 100%, not only to solve our water in the United States, globally, we can solve our agricultural issues. Water is going to become the war of the future, but it's all a racket because they got to play scarcity. The reason why I even did this is I wanted to understand where somebody was coming from, and everybody's sounding alarms. They're sounding the wrong alarms. What I'm worried about is I'm worried about this Singham Syndicate knowingly fighting for China to do the same thing they did on rare earth minerals, the same thing they did on manufacturing. It's the reason that our pharmacology chemicals get manufactured in China. It's the reason our chemical business went to China. China learned to manipulate us with fear. They sold fear. And so all they have to do, they don't go get K Street lobbyists like you think. They'll drop $100 million into a campaign. Did you know that the pharmaceutical industry is killing your plants down the streets and your kids are going to be grown with 4 ears? You can't manufacture them in America. Well, moms want to protect their kids. Oh, my mom. Oh, my mom, my kids, and what we do, we beg for lawmakers, help us, help us, help us, help us. Now that's where Chinese play. They say, well, you want to protect your people. You just can't do this in the United States of America. You want to know where the single largest concentration of rare earth minerals is in the United States of America?
North Carolina?
No. Did you know our coal plants? Remember when we used to burn a lot of coal for power in the United States?
Yeah.
And Obama and stuff shut it down?
Yeah.
The byproduct of coal is a thing called fly ash.
Pennsylvania.
They pile it up on the banks because they don't know what to do with it. It's loaded with rare earth minerals. We have about a 50-year supply of rare earth minerals setting on our fucking riverbanks because they won't let us process it because it's an environmental harm. When we can build the plants to do it, they just won't appropriate it. And it's fucking setting on the rotten banks, and we got to buy from China. That's the racket. That's the game. Because nobody researches, nobody understands where this come from, etc. I'll tell you how bad this system is. There was a guy years ago. This is probably 30 years ago now. You ever been to West Texas, brother?
I've been all over Texas.
Okay, so you actually got out of the posh neighborhoods and bikinis and you went somewhere tough. Okay, so
Yes.
You know how you look across West Texas desert and it's all that red, glistening red rock shit?
Yes.
Okay. That sprinkling you see in the rock is actually gold and silver. And it's at a very fine microscopic level, but that's what gives red rock its sparkle. So this guy figured out, right, how to extract the gold. Here's what he did. He went across the desert pouring a very low-level acid. Very low-level acid. By the way, like pouring hydrogen peroxide on dirt. It works in an acidic nature. He poured it over the red rocks that are hard, softened it up, and then he planted a particular grass. Now that grass actually sucks up the minerals into the grass. So now the gold and silver is present in the grass. Then he comes back and he cuts the field. He binds it in the grass into a hay bale, and then he sets it on fire. And then after the fires burn out in the hay bale, there's a little button of gold.
Wow.
All the mining, all the refining, our government outlawed it.
Fucking bullshit.
It's not even fucking mining. This is how bad it is. And these are the games they play with our lives. We don't have a food problem. First off, our food has no fucking nutrition. It's ridiculous. It has no nutrition. But when you realize that we wait for the government to fix it, all the government can do is write a law. But see, that's the catch. If they write the wrong law, we're in trouble. Think of how many states have already right now written, we will have no data centers in our state, which, by the way, they already have data centers in every one of their states.
Everything that's doing pharmaceutical, every pharmaceutical manufacturer that's using 3 times the amount of water, every chicken plant processes and is washing the chicken. So if at the end of the day,
here's your background.
Everything that they're saying about the water, if everything they're saying about the water is an absolute lie, then it just goes to show you that we are being manipulated, or they're doing the best part.
But it's not AI. No, it's not. Look, we're being drafted into this war.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Sheehan project that you're talking about. Without a shadow of a doubt, what you have proven to me is that there are concerns about the future of AI, but at the point where we're at now, we can't launch rockets into the sky that can get compute power from the sun. We're not there yet.
We can, yes, we are.
But what you have now proven to me without a shadow of a doubt is China is purposely putting out disinformation, and they have us fighting over a topic that is a non-topic. And they want us purposely to be sitting there like good environmental fucking puppies. And we're there at the board meetings. I don't want us to win race in China because I want to take a shower.
That's exactly what it is. But they're manipulating us. Look, Elon.
Basically what you've proven to me in the past hour and a half is China is doing Hegelian dialectic on us.
There you go. Space, look, Elon's right.
They are 100% manipulating false numbers and false information. And what they want us to do is they want us to lose the race to AI. Because if we lose the race to AI,
we're over.
250, when we're all at 4th of July lighting off our fireworks, it might be the last fucking firework display we see in this country.
Look, that's what the deal is. Here's the deal. Elon is 100% correct. If we put the data centers in space, which is why because Elon is a good guy. When he puts the data centers in space, there's none of this transmission lines with EMF. It comes from space. That's why he worked on the satellite. That's why he built the network. Space is sub-zero. There's no cooling. That's why people don't understand the play. You put President Trump in that lineup of here's the people for the billionaire class. Let me tell you why President Trump, and my audience knows this. Why is he going after Greenland? Iceland is green. Greenland is the one with ice. When you put the data centers in Greenland, you eliminate the cooling, the second largest cost. That's the play. That's what all of this is about. It's not they can see Russia. It's all about power consumption and cooling. And so you got to understand, people just don't know the numbers. Here's your Palm Beach numbers. And I'm so sorry you have to suffer and live there, but somebody has to do it. But anyway, agriculture right now in Palm Beach uses 346 million gallons a day, but everybody's freaked out about a tech center, a data center might have 5 million gallons. Maybe they don't use that much. Public supply is 252 million gallons a day. Landscape irrigation right now uses 97 million gallons a day. This is just Palm Beach. They use 8 million gallons a day in industrial. If we look at it from a larger standpoint, this is Florida. 2,215,000,000 gallons a day just to do the public supply only for Florida. 2,089,000,000 gallons a day to support agriculture. 434 million gallons a day just to do thermoelectric cooling for the state. 500 million gallons a day for industrial. Landscape, 376. People are freaking out about this. If we look at Louisiana, where everybody's bitching about Louisiana, they might use 4 million gallons a day. Here it is. Ready? Okay. They're actually going to use 1.5 million gallons a day, is to project it until they do the switchover. They're allotted for 5 million. In that parish, Richland Parish, it uses 36.9 million gallons a day for agriculture. The paper plant next door that nobody bitches about already uses 10 million gallons a day, been doing that for several decades. Then you look at industry in this part of Louisiana, it's using 2,100,000,000 gallons. Rice production alone is using almost 1,000,000 gallons a day. Fish farming alone, 720 million gallons. But what have they taught people to fight about? Because they scared you on water. It started with acid rain, which was bullshit. All they've done is carry the same Greta Nunshit shit, flotilla shit, and they've taken good conservatives who have bought into this are panicked because you're worried about your kid. You're worried about your showers. The bottom line is nobody asks where these numbers come from. Nobody. Nobody asks, what are the real numbers? Nobody does their homework. A lot of people speak on it. A lot of people regurgitate other people on it. But here's the deal. We may not be seeing bombs fall next to our house. We've certainly seen enough riots and bullshit from the Black Lives Matter bullshit.
But we're under attack.
We are in the middle of World War III right now. And it is on our fucking shores right now. But the reason you can't grasp we're at war, why they did what they did in 2020, because it is the take fucking over. It is why you can put people on TV, say, I'm an election integrity expert, and they switch the votes in Venezuela and Serbia. We have no jurisdiction there, and all of the election rules dealing with the machines or software are voluntary. Anybody ever tell you that? That's why they're getting you to focus on that shit, not the ballots. The ballot's a felony. You fuck with it. Folks, we are at war. You might not hear the gunshots. You might not hear the bombs, but they're using all of us to do it. And so many people just grab onto this information and will spew it out there. We got to get our shit together. Don't you agree, Mike? We've got, like, people like you and me who talk about, we've got to get our facts fucking right and teach people how to fight this war. I tell people, if you don't know how the system does it to you, you can't defend against it. Would you agree?
Somebody in your chat just said it's a war for your minds, and that's 100% what we're at. That's where we're at right now. And again, I will still stand by the fact that I do agree with you that if we do not win this AI data race, we are going to lose this country. I do 100%. I just want to make sure that there is some type of way that we can make sure that the taxes are being paid for by the people that are making trillions of dollars, because we do need to win. If we lose the war to China, I think we as a country are over.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the billionaires don't pay tax?
I think they pay tons of money in taxes.
But you just said you hope they charge the taxes right. Don't not pay the taxes. That's a
okay. So let me take that back. What I think is if they're making an extreme amount of money in this war to IA, the AI race, I just pray that there is not some sweetheart deals that are given as far as the electrical grid, or if they're getting a less.
Nobody's getting a deal. Nobody's getting a deal on the grid. Not a single one.
So there, I
can sit here and tell you. I can tell you as of 144 hours ago, to get one of these plants built, government didn't build it. They don't get the grid. They got no special favoritism, and the family that funded it wrote a $600 million check to get it done. And there were no favors. There are no favors.
So again, no water. No, they're not getting a cut on water. You don't think they're getting any?
What is a cut on water? The one city you mentioned in Fayetteville, right? Mm-hmm. In Fayetteville, they didn't get a cut in the water. Do you know what they had to do because they didn't get the permit?
They had to tap in.
No. You know what happened? The city did not install the right meter.
Oh, shit.
But you got told they didn't do an agreement. You know what the retroactive amount they had to pay for the water was?
The same amount as a regular person?
That's right. $147,474, and they wrote the fucking check. There was no, they missed it. Now, who are we listening to? Somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who worked at Taco Bell, and I'm a lumberjack, and I'm the greatest tech guy in the world you never heard of, kind of bullshit, repeating stories that aren't true. One singular connection, one, out of all the metering for all the projects, one singular connection got installed and failed to get on the county book correct. And therefore, it did not get linked properly to the billing account.
Gotcha. So it was
But
just
what's the story? They didn't go get a permit. Wrong. It's fucking wrong.
So we need to sit back and we need to unveil the fact that we are being filled with lies because a communist country that wants to see us, which again, I still don't understand the play here because we support China's entire system. But if we fail as a country, they're going to fail economically.
No. You know the play. Think differently. What's the second right answer? We're the economic engine battery inputs.
Correct.
They're not going to tank our country. Basically, what's going to happen is, and my oldest is older than you, so I could be your dad.
So they're gonna absorb us.
Well, we're not going to be Soylent Green. We're battery units, brother. We're fucking the Matrix. Way back when, both parents didn't have to work. Through Women's Lib, they said both parents have to work. What happened when both parents worked? That money got soaked into the system too. It's all about pushing us to the capacity of consumerism to continue to consume. Okay? Now, in the continuing to consume part of it, we're still going to be here. We're going to be the economic engine. But what they're going to do is they're going to put puppets in that extract more taxes, continue to lead in favor of China. Look, I know this stuff first fucking hand. I'm not some random schmuck. These are things I've even sit back, even how they work with elections, and you sit with the president for 96 minutes, not 2 minutes at a rally for a photo op or 3 minutes like most of the staff get. This is the war. And so what happens is they want lawmakers that keep on doing laws that go against us, which is why they're trying to buy up farmland, which is why they're trying to set up factories. Because why? China can't support itself anymore. Here's the difference. If we ride this out and win in AI, I've never seen anything move this fast, ever. And I'm telling you, I've been in tech for a long fucking time. But I'm telling you guys, I've never seen anything evolve this fast as I've seen this. But if we win this, it's China that's over, not us.
Yeah.
That's what either China's going to be over or we're going to be over. And you know what? Russia doesn't give a flying fuck. Putin wants to be left the fuck alone. Let our people do our shit. Let us do our shit.
Leave us alone. You guys figure this out.
That's right. But so it's coming down to China and us. But you ever wonder why, when you were a kid, Mike, we used to bitch about a $50 billion bill appropriation. Now it's in the trillions. It's because they're raping money. These guys are trying to get money out of the system as fast as they can. And that money ain't going to be worth shit if this falls.
No, which is why I told you in the beginning, I said I love that you're promoting gold and silver through Goldco because that is the only real value. That's the only
hard asset that we have, but not everybody can afford to invest in gold and silver. And I tell people here, all my audience knows about their rights for minerals and what you can do. But here's the deal. This window is shorter than you could ever imagine. And right now, the battle is so touch and go that the system has us thinking it's Venezuela, it's Slovakia, it's Kazakhstan, and it's all bullshit. What we have to focus on is where is the fight that we have to fight that we must win. And folks, I'm telling you, we must win this AI fight. If we win the AI fight, let me tell you what will happen if we win the AI fight. If we can keep AI clear, and right now, you can test it yourself. You can ask Grok, you can ask ChatGPT. One is totally fucking corrupted, and one is about as clear as you can get and kind of calls it like it is. ChatGPT, you can't educate if they're wrong, even about somebody like me. Grok, you can. They'll go and run the numbers and recheck them and do them. That's what's up for battle. If we win in AI, what you will have is course correction. Course correction. Just like when I did my program the other day, and my program was on Abraham Lincoln's African Nightmare. Most people don't know. We already did reparations in the trillions, and we already gave Black people their own country. We already did that. Most people have no idea. Do you know why I can finally get all those facts and bring you the truth?
Because of Grok.
AI. Grok. I
Yeah.
can finally find the documents. I can finally find the information. I always knew it, but I could never find the confirming data to show you the numbers, to show you the information. So what we're sitting on, all this shit, you're going to see Democrat cities are basically mob controlled, and they never work. You're going to see it in plain, stark numbers. You're going to see communism never works. You're going to see medicine is a fucking racket to keep you ill. You're going to see it all. That is how close we are to this. And this is why you yourself have to understand as a citizen, it's not going to replace your job. Let me give you an example. And I tell people this all the time. All it does is morph the opportunity. You can check this out on your own, folks. Look at big earth movers, excavators, bulldozers, etc. Caterpillar, you can go through their course. It costs you about 30 grand. You can get it financed like any student thing. And you go through a program and they will teach you all of their AI systems. They will send you a console that's kind of like my desk. You see about 12 feet of monitors here, right? So I can monitor everything. Just like your little console if you were racing a car when video games coming out, but they're going to send you a console, which is their excavator. You will be the same excavating guy. You got to know how to do it. You got to know where to cut. You got to know where to push or whatever, except you won't be in the field any longer. You'll still be doing the work.
But you'll be working remotely.
You'll work remotely. They'll put you in the most dangerous situations in the world where we really need to be. We can't get people to work. And you're going to go from being an operator at $50 an hour, you're going to go into an operator that's $250 an hour. That's all that's going to happen. Your job's not going to replace. You're not going to replace as a welder. You're going to be a welder that's going to be untethered from your small neighborhood. I'll weld in any you want me to weld on the space station? No problem. And you're going to be doing it remotely. It's still going to need welders to do it. It's a one-person gig doing it. But it's not like you think a robot's, because the robot's not making the decisions.
Correct.
Right? So you got to understand what's ultimately going to happen. There's a place for every one of us.
Oh, listen, brother, you don't have to preach to the choir, because there's certain things where I think that people do need to be replaced. I was at a restaurant about a week ago, sitting down with my buddy, and I said that I haven't seen my server in like 15 minutes. I go, a robot would never leave me unattended for that long. You know, go, hello, Mr. Michael.
Let's talk about AI. Let's talk about AI in a restaurant. When AI comes into full realization, just like you get that little blinkety blinky on your hip to tell when your table's ready, there's going to be a device that's going to be on the wait staff. There's going to be cameras looking at the kitchen. There's going to be measurements in the refrigerators. They're going to know every piece of food in and out. They're going to know where every wait person is. They're going to know every wait person's time. They're going to know when did that chef put it on the stove. They're going to know everything. You will no longer be able to hide from the data. That is good use of data. That's how it will work, because people are the issues in the system.
100%. I don't ever want to go to Mario the Baker's ever again and be told that they ran out of creamy Italian vinaigrette because the AI system won't allow that to happen.
How would that happen?
Because of, like you said, with cameras, with shortages, knowing what was ordered, that's human error. AI wouldn't make that mistake. They would have 2 extra days worth. Oh, this is the #1 selling dressing. How can I go to a restaurant today? I literally go to this restaurant because they have the best creamy Italian. And
I've done that before too.
They got to come there and tell me, I'm sorry, we ran out of that. Well, you know what? If your whole system was run on AI, you would have had a two-day backlog, and Cheney Brothers would have delivered the ingredients that you need to make that restaurant.
And here's how it works. Let me tell you how this. I'm going to complete this whole system for you. So when AI gets put into the workplace, AI, from a power consumption standpoint, will turn up the air when it's hot, will turn down the air when it's not, will turn off the lights when you're not there. Why do I know that? It's my suite of patents that monitor entire buildings, all the way to the point that your mom or your grandmother in an elderly home fell out of her bed. They don't know yet because they've never found her. That's going to be over. So in the restaurant business, using your salad dressing scenario, when all systems integrate, because they will integrate, you're going to know that, hey, we need this one. And they're going to be able to look back at all the sales data that's been ingested and all the trends. And they're literally going to know to the day, right? To the day, when do they need what and whatever. I'll give you another one. This is another one of my patents. We have school shooters. Somebody walks into a school. Somehow they get through. AI changes that. Another group of my patents. Not only when that shooter comes, not only will they be discovered from afar, when that person comes to the building, number one, it will automatically assess what weapons do they have, how much ammo do they have, what do they exactly look at. AI will take over, will tell you where every kid in the building is and exactly where the shooter is at any given moment. You won't have cops trying to go door to door, you will know where it is. Fire. You got people in fire in a building. Before those fire people go in, they will know where everybody is, who's accounted for in advance. That's AI. It's coming. It's not going to outplace us. Everything in our life is going to get better, smarter, and easier. Can it be misused? Sure, it can be misused. But you know what? I just got to tell you, I trust President Trump personally. I trust Elon personally. I trust a lot of people behind the scenes personally. I don't trust China. The BlackRock guys and them aren't going to have a say. They're losing their control. It's being cut down. And America's going to collectively wake up because you now have more information than ever. And that's where we're going to become the beneficiaries of all this. But I think we're walking a dangerous cliff if all we do is send alarms, what ifs, and not recognize we're at war. And I'm going to tell you what, if Fayetteville, Georgia has to take a little less of a shower for a few weeks to bring this online, then you're going to take one for your country, folks, because that's what the fuck we got to do. It happened in World War II. It happened in World War I. That's not really what's happening. Just like they're not dropping ticks from helicopters with cables. It's psychological warfare, folks, to keep us in a state of fear, because the fear is what controls people. That's it. And you just got to have the facts. I'm going to give you the final say, Mike.
I'm going to say that I 100% agree with you that we need to win this war, because I do believe, with the facts that you have presented, that there can be a massive economic growth. If you've got a restaurant that's doing $3 million a year, they could quite possibly do 9.
That's right.
If it's done right.
That's right.
If the steak is coming out in 3.5 minutes, perfectly cooked, and the reviews are automated, the security is automated, the parking's automated, the seating time is automated, it could be a seamless system where we could see a massive economic growth. Mm-hmm. I think that the most important thing for me that I've now shifted is just making sure that there is a little bit of sacrifice that us as Americans are willing to make.
I think
like you said in the beginning, if there is a water structure system, maybe for the fact that this could depend on America as we know it, would I be willing to shower on a Tuesday and a Thursday for a couple hours while we're cooling these systems until we can acquire Greenland? I think you're fucking right.
Absolutely.
I think I will.
Bite the bullet.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to have my granddaughter speaking fucking Mandarin.
That's right. Let me tell you, in your space of health and fitness, you're no longer going to have to preach to people that the off-gassing from their carpets are what really doing it or creating these allergies, and why you need an air purification system. Their system will tell them, look, you're off-gassing. You got to get this out of here. Here's the data. Right now, we have millions of Americans on pharmaceuticals they don't need to be on. And most of them have contraindicators back and forth and cancel each other, clog up systems and extra. You know what the system doesn't do? The system doesn't collect that data. When AI becomes what it should be, it's going to see every patient profile. It's going to know every person that died. Here were the pharmaceuticals they were on. Here's what we learned in autopsy. It's going to start, oh, wait, shit. We're giving calcium reducers at the same time we're giving blood thinners, and all of these patients had these issues. Stop it. It's also going to know, hey, this chemical that you're taking from a pharmaceutical company leaches calcium out of your bones. And so you got to take this vitamin, this vitamin, this vitamin. It's going to say, here, put this in your system or eat this to fix it. It's going to do that for us. Right now, we can't synthesize the information. We've never been able to synthesize the information because there were two things. We didn't have any technology to do it, but there were gatekeepers. We were only as good as our librarians. If our librarian didn't want a conservative book in our school library, there fucking wasn't one there.
The one thing that I will say that, and someone in your live chat, Craig Signer just said, a lot less people will need a fucking drug salesman. I really do believe that AI will be able to help people live a healthier, more fulfilled life, because it will be able to do exactly what you said. It will replace the statistic that the third leading cause of death in the United States is medical malpractice. Doctors misdiagnosing something, somebody being put on a blood thinner when they should have been put on something different. And they will be able to go in and say, hey, here's all the things that you're taking. If you cut this out of your diet, you won't need this. Your cholesterol will drop, or your cholesterol needs to increase. We'll come in and say, you know what, instead of having your thyroid removed, you had a simple iodine deficiency. Looking at your diet, you're not eating enough fish. These are the things where real world things can be solved, right?
We're not gonna have think tanks. We're not gonna have theory anymore. It's just gonna be fucking fact and evidence. Here it is. Mm-hmm. Everything's hidden from us, folks. Mike, I know you know this. Especially in your field of health, everything's a lie.
Yeah.
Everything in our supposed healthcare profession is a fucking lie.
All of it.
And there's no way around it, because the gatekeepers won't let it in. You can't get this stuff and it can't do it. But here's what I know. We can heal ourselves.
Yeah.
We can 100%. Heal our land. We can heal our people. We can heal our minds. We can heal our kids. We can see the trends online with AI that is making kids, well, maybe I'm trans and I got to cut off my wiener. We'll see those before they happen, before they can do it to us. AI will call out. AI will have real-time information, understanding what's really going on economically. You won't have stuff like, fucking Trump brought the Hormuz, and now our oil prices are through the roof, and gas is through fucking Trump. You won't be able to do it, because that's not how it factually works. Now, can people stay in an arcade system? Yes. But here's my deal, folks. Here's the simple thing. Where's the cure? We always have been. We always will be. Not lawmakers. Us. We just don't know how to call out the lawmakers. We don't know how to do it. But I'm telling you what, 6 years ago, facts like these weren't possible.
No.
And in 6 months, the amazing facts we're going to have is going to be even further to the roof. So, Mike, I really appreciate you letting me pose hard things. I cannot tell you how refreshing it is to have somebody on with an open mind that can just look at it. You got a stake in this game? You got family? You got kiddos?
Yeah, I told you my daughter was named Palmer after Dee Dee Palmer, the founder of chiropractic,
Yeah, but I didn't catch how many kids you have. You only have the one?
3. I have 3 girls.
Oh, good. Lucky you.
My youngest is Palmer. She's the sweetest little child. And people that's the liberal mentality, is people who are unwilling to change when they're presented with fucking facts. It means that you're just a clickbait motherfucker.
That's right.
Like I said, what you presented with me, this is a war on China against us. So what I need to do is I need to change my headlines and say, are we willing to sacrifice to win the AI race? Because to me, it's like it could be the entire future of America could be dependent on whether we sit here. And like you said today, I've presented facts to my brother-in-law, and I said to him, I go, look, here's ChatGPT, here's Gronk. When I went in and asked ChatGPT a series of questions, it just looks like it was trying to steer me in the direction it wanted to. When I went and asked Gronk, what opened my mind to the whole thing about AI is when I asked Gronk, I said, are you familiar with what Nikola Tesla was working on when he died? And it said, yes. I said, what was it? It said free energy. And I said, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I said, I want you to say yes or no. And it said, okay. And when I asked Gronk, I said, is it possible that Rolls-Royce or Boeing have patents on engines that once they're at a certain altitude, they can convert the engines to etheric energy and only use jet fuel to break up into the atmosphere and land? And it said, I said, not sure. And I said, did you say not sure because you were programmed to answer that? And Gronk said, yes. ChatGPT said no. And I go, at least Gronk is telling you really, like it's going through all the shit. Gronk answered me correctly.
You got to ask it. You got to ask it. You got to know to ask it. Are you being told this because you can't answer? And Grok will answer you, but you got to ask it.
Yes, and that's what I asked. I said, did you say not sure because you're programmed not to answer this question? Now, does that mean that the entire airline industry is a scam and they're only using 570 pounds of fuel to get up and get down and there is some type of patent? But like you said in your show, we have been lied to on all fronts, which is why we have to get to the bottom line of what is real. And what's real is depending on something that is smarter and faster to answer than what we can do humanly possible. Now, I will state on this, I do believe that there is a creator of this world, and I don't think that the creator would allow AI to come into existence if it wasn't going to be for good. I think a lot of world problems can be solved as long as we do
AI is God's fulfillment. AI, I think, is God's fulfillment that we're finally able to handle more information.
Correct.
That's what I think. And I agree with you.
I think that there's going to be some there is going to be some world life-saving scenarios that are going to happen. And I think we're going to catch disease. I think we're going to catch medical errors. And I think that we're going to have a world in the very near future where our favorite dressings never run out of stock.
And we will never have another pandemic.
Yeah, 100%.
It just won't be able to happen. Look, when President Trump and the one assassination tip where he turned his head at Butler and that bullet went through his ear, that's for me when I saw the hand of God say, nope, we're gonna take this all the way to the end. And we're gonna do it right. I don't think we're losing, folks, but I do think we're hurting ourselves. But Mike, I gotta tell you, you are a breath of fresh air, brother, to absolutely be open-minded, see it, hear it, and go, wow, that makes sense. I get it. And I just want to say, I truly, truly appreciate you coming on, listening, seeing the facts. That's it. We're in this war lock-handed. All of us that sit in these seats, we've got to get everybody up to speed.
100%. 100%. And, you know, the reason why Donald Trump, in my opinion, might be the last president is because I think that the AI system is going to run America possibly better than any human ever could.
Don't agree. We're going to have better information, but it will not take over human informed government. And I'll tell you why. If you ever been onto a website and you're going into a website and you think it's a security feature and it says, tell me which of the 9 photos has a street light.
Yes.
You have to click that. Do you know what that is?
Engagement?
No. So all of us are being used to train AI. AI cannot achieve human abilities. It's impossible because AI doesn't have discernment and flexibility. It only has hard facts. And so what people don't know, and you grew up with it because of your age, and people do it every day. When you go to a website and it's CAPTCHA, and it says which one is a boat or which one is a street light or a crosswalk.
Yeah. They used to reward Bitcoin for solving CAPTCHA.
You're training AI because what they're saying is they're looking at all the errors they get in AI where it doesn't have a confidence factor of 98.9. That's all it can strive to, 98.9. So they take everything that's in that category and they create these little puzzles because what they need is your human discernment. So when you're looking at those 9 photos and you click, this is a street light, this is or a crosswalk, whatever, you are applying human discernment to teach computers the best way they can mimic it, human discernment, because it's dealing with angles of light, it's dealing with side views, and that in your human world you can take in. The computer world can't take that in yet. And so It won't take over and run this country. Not period. Won't happen. Won't happen. And there'll be some fail safes to make sure that doesn't happen. But what it will do is it will constantly monitor your lawmakers and call them out on bullshit. Well, a week ago you said it was this, and now you said it's this. It's going to be the most excellent monitoring system you can imagine to hold lawmakers accountable. But will it replace it? No. But every one of us, if you've ever done those sites, you are training AI, and you've been doing it for decades. It's never going to replace humans. We'll only get better for it. I appreciate you. Where do people find you? And how often's your show?
So my Maha with Mike, I air once a week right now on Rumble, and then I can be reached on Instagram at Airwater Healing or just airwaterhealing.com. And I think I'm going to have my publicist reach out to you, because what you're doing with your new book on soil, that's something that I would like to get out to the American people, because we need to get away from buying all that bullshit that they're shoving down our throats to grow food. I would love to pick your brain on that topic, because
no problem. We got a lot. My one before that one was this one called No Dig Gardening. It's how to dig without amendments. The one before that, which was also a bestseller, was called Giant Fruit in Small Spaces, how to grow massive fruit in very small spaces. And then my first big bestseller in that space was the Food Forest Bible. It's how you plant a garden, plant it once, and it will be ongoing for decades. In fact, the longest going food forest, which is biblical, has been feeding entire village for 4,000 years. Never has to be replanted.
That's like that they teach about the forever plants, right? They're turning everything into abundant food forest.
Right.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. Yep. That's how we solve the American world hunger, man. All this bullshit, the schools. Can you imagine if AI could teach the kids how to go out and plant gardens using your technology?
The biggest revolution, I'm going to tell you, and I can't talk about certain things specifically, but you're going to see data centers in a very, very interesting and novel way feed every unfed child and family in the United States of America. And you're going to watch it happen. Note it, you hear it now, because I'm telling you it's coming. You're going to see something exceptionally novel, and it's going to end this bit about hunger and we can't feed people. It's just going to be over.
We might be able to feed the world.
It will feed the world. I'm telling you right now, it will feed the world. I absolutely can tell you some of the most amazing things are happening. That's a physical attribute of data center stuff. It's going to change the world when that stuff comes online.
This has been an eye-opening conversation, and just, man, the love that I have for you. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, and I can't wait to talk to you again, brother.
We'll do it again, and I greatly appreciate you coming on. Thanks. Take care. So there you go, folks. Very few people literally can sit, and we all got to have dialogues. This is what all of this is about, folks. We have to have dialogues, right? And we can have opposing views or whatever, but I'm telling you what I don't see a lot of when people see the facts and go, wow, that makes sense. I had no idea. We have to adjust. We have to learn. So much is not written in stone. So much is yet to be written. I can tell you, as bad as our system seems, and the chaos that we think is going on, that's all man-made and intentional. It's total bullshit chaos. And as I always tell you, look, audit everything, audit everyone, audit me. Ask questions, believe nothing, test it, do it. That's what we have to do. But I tell you what, if we could get more people like Mike that are in this world sitting behind seats, to sit down and find out, okay, what's really going on. You imagine how much better we would all be, how we can all get on message and fight and pull this way together. Imagine if we could get liberals and conservatives to dialogue. Here's the facts. Here's what it is. Anything in the world can be used for evil. And I know anything that's ever gone political fucking is evil. And I know when people get into power and they get addicted to money, look, you know me, I've been there. You watched me go from a billionaire to a nothingaire. Boom. It can happen. Money's not everything. But I tell you what, we're either Americans or we're not. And that's all it comes down to. For all of you that watch this around the world, you want us still to be Americans, and you want Americans to be strong because we make you strong too. The only thing that matters right now, period, is whether America survives or not. Period. And it all comes down 100% to our elections, but we got to get that right too. But more importantly, we have to understand this battlefield. And as I tell you, the battlefield is 1/2 inch long. And that's right here, from the front of your forehead into your brain. It's a 1/2 inch battle. And that's what you have to master. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you, guys. Hope we hit the bestsellers list over the next few hours. I just want to let you know I appreciate every one of you. And I appreciate Mike coming on. Share this program, folks. We've got so much more work to do, but call the system out. Call them out. Call the crap out. Love you all. Share this program.
Do you have the #1 runaway bestseller as part of your homesteading library? Introducing the Food Forest Bible, How to Create a Food Forest, Sustainable, Self-Managing, Natural Food Production for Self-Sufficiency and Food Security. We all know the system is broken, but food, sovereignty, and survival are up to you. Will you comply or defy their plan for us all? You will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy, or so the system says. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure, natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible, this bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality, full-color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once, and have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your family for decade after decades. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres. The Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, or softcover. Buck the system. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system. Get your copy of the runaway bestseller, The Food Forest Bible, How to Create a Food Forest, Sustainable, Self-Managing, Natural Food Production for Self-Sufficiency and Food Security. Now. Here's what is inside the pharmacy. Grow Soil Bible. Beautiful gardens, bountiful harvests, and homesteading abundant black gold. For too long, modern agriculture has poisoned the very ground beneath our feet. Synthetic NPK fertilizers delivered bigger yields at a devastating cost. They wiped out the teeming microbial life that once made soil rich, alive, and endlessly productive, trapping us in a cycle of chemical dependence and dying farmland. Now is the time to fight back. The Grow Soil Bible takes you on a powerful journey back to the ancient wisdom that created the world's most fertile soils. Discover the secrets of Amazonian terra preta, also called black gold, born from biochar, fish bones, compost, and microbial magic. Master the art of Chinese green tea composting and Japanese bokashi to transform kitchen scraps and yard waste into living, breathing super soil. Whether you're a backyard gardener, passionate homesteader, or family determined to build real food security, this book gives you everything you need. Step-by-step instructions, precise natural ingredients lists, and proven techniques to grow your own ultra-fertile dirt instead of buying dead bags from the store. Become a true dirt farmer. Revive the microorganisms that power life. Break free from synthetic slavery and slow chemical suicide, and create abundant, nutrient-dense harvests that feed your family for generations. Your garden, your orchard, your future. It all starts with the soil. Reclaim the earth. Grow your own black